I'm not just here to give you ideas. I'm here to help you implement what matters most. Open your hearts and let's turn the page. Your next chapter starts now. Welcome to the Book Club with Ruth Klein. I'm your host, Ruth Klein, and this episode is about book chat. And I'm talking today about one of my books, Generation Why Not? And the tagline pretty much tells you what the book is about. 7 principles to a purposeful business and life driven by attitude, not age. And being in clinical psychology and spiritual psychology, this really speaks to me because so much of who we are is basically right here. And so I wrote this book because I wanted to know, why is it that some people get meteoric rises and then for whatever reason lose everything? Some come back, some don't. What is that? Is it money? Is it age? Is it geographical location? What is that? And what I realized through interviewing a lot of people in this book is it's attitude. It's basically attitude. And so when we think of demographics, we think of baby boomers, we think of millennials, Generation Z, all the different labels that you have there based on age. This is a generation that is based on values of ideas as well as attitude. So I'd like to read a couple of parts to this, and I hope you like it. So basically, the people interviewed in this book, the case studies and personal experiences include all ages in business, sports, science, health, film, medicine, art, and technology. And this new demographic shift, it's a demographic shift, will surprise you, inspire you, and propel you to become the best you can be now, today, no matter your age. Because the new shift knows that it's about the way we see the world, our intentions, our thoughts, our beliefs, and on and on. So I'm going to share a couple of things with you. People having started new businesses, ideas, and their ages at the time. So at age 12, the youngest New York Times bestselling author finishes his first book, Jake Marcigonette. At age 29, he invents the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell. What else do we have here? At 38, he develops a vaccine for the deadly virus polio. We know Dr. Jonas Salk. At 51, she becomes the first woman justice to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor. At 62, he publishes the first volume of many for his fantasy series, Lord of the Rings. At 77, he writes and publishes his first of 4 books within 4 years, Arsène Marsubian. And at age 83, the baby doctor becomes an activist for world peace, Dr. Benjamin Spock. So it doesn't matter what your age is. What matters is your attitude. And I'll continue. People of all ages tend to rise to the expectations we place upon them. This is such an important element, I believe. When we have high expectations for children, for friends, for significant others, they rise to the occasion. It's a really beautiful thing to watch. So rather than separating each other in the workforce or in family life or in social situations, what if we disrupted those old perceptual filters and saw people as people rather than categorize them as too young, too old, or too anything? At the end of the day, why not try it and see what happens within your organization, family, and community? This is how Generation Why Not sees the world. They see things as they could be, not as they are at this moment. I'm going to repeat that because it's so huge. Generation Why Not sees the world as they could be, not as they are at this moment. So why is that so important? Because when you are putting together your dreams and you're putting together what you would like to happen and you start visioning that, don't start from where you are now. Don't look at your bank account where it is now. Look at it as how it could be. Go out into the future, go out into your vision and start from there. Otherwise, many times, if we're not happy with where we are in different situations, we kind of give up. We don't want to start here. The reason we don't want to start here is because we got here from the past thinking. So now the past thinking is right now. We want to move forward into what we want. As Wayne Gretzky, the famous hockey player, said, "A good hockey player plays where the puck is. A great hockey player plays where the puck is going to be." This new demographic is based more on the mental, behavioral, and emotional process, getting more in depth and personal, realizing the vastness of attitudes and beliefs of these generations. It's time to identify this generation and call it what it is. Members of Generation Why Not have been around throughout the ages. This is not something new, but it's something in terms of coining it, calling it something new. And most likely, we are seen as disruptors. And disruptors in the best sense of the world, as the transcendental philosopher Henry David Thoreau would put it, Generation Why Not, quote, marches to a different drumbeat than most others do. Their ideas at first glance are thought of as impossible, and they're seen as dreamers that need to get a shot of reality. How many of you out there, I know I get this a lot, I will come up with an idea and people will sometimes roll their eyes. I don't even think they realize they're rolling their eyes, but they can't envision what I'm sharing. This happened just recently when I had an author that I was working with, and he wanted his book to go to film. And we couldn't really put it in a feature film, at least not for now. So we created a docu-short. Now, in my mind, I knew that that was possible. But when I spoke to many people in the field of film, they couldn't get it. So either I wasn't explaining it right, or, which is very possible, or they could only see it as a feature film or something else. So that's part of Generation Why Not. This generation is not to be admired as much as they are to be seen as inspirational, because they allow us to see what is possible. You know, we wouldn't have the inventions we have today if people didn't see what was possible from a different perceptual lens than what exists today. And I think I have just a few more for you. So there are many factors that make up Generation Why Not. I'll just share a couple. And as a group, this is how they see the world, the perceptual lens in which they see the world and they live their life. This generation is intentional with their success. Someone most recently said that she would like to be able to forgive her ex-husband. And my response to that was, if you have that intention, it becomes possible. If you don't have that intention, it doesn't mean it's not possible, but it makes it a little bit more difficult. This generation knows that words matter. Every single word carries energy, and every single word carries frequency. And we have all of this energy that makes us up and frequency. And in this last person that I interviewed, we talked a little bit about epigenetics and how our frequency, how our thoughts can literally turn on and turn off certain cells in our body just by the frequency, just by the thoughts. And we don't see it, but it's this magnificent, magnificent body takes care of it and does what it does. But do we want certain things to turn on and turn off? That becomes the question. Other factors of Generation Why Not, they rarely take no for an answer. When I was younger, I got in trouble all the time because I wouldn't take no. My daughter says no just means a lazy yes. Some people say that no is maybe not now. Whatever it is, you don't take no for face value. They're resourceful and they keep trying new things in new ways. They basically don't stop. And something that is really, which I admire in Generation Why Not, is they don't give up. They just simply don't give up. They go a different direction. And they don't see failure as we normally think of failure. They see failure as feedback, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. If you're in a maze and you run into a wall, that just is feedback. Can't do that. Let's try this avenue. It's the exact same thing. And I think I want to leave you with one other thing, and that is who can benefit from this perceptual shift? People in business, CEOs, founders, corporate level executives, managers, thought leaders in all industries, mompreneurs, moms, children, teens, 20-somethings, and everything in between. I'm hoping you enjoyed our first book chat. I'll be doing more of these, and until then, I'll see you next time. I'm not just here to give you ideas. I'm here to help you implement what matters most. Open your hearts and let's turn the page. Your next chapter starts now.